An iCharger 406Go to repair. Customer said he was charging a 12-volt battery on his motorbike when someone started the motorbike up while it's still on charge, and now it doesn't work. I'm not sure whether he means one channel, so I can connect it up and see what happens. And turn it on. It does come on. Okay, it's now saying no back connection. So it looks like it's this one. So I'll take it apart and have a look, see what's inside. Usual number of screws and things to take off the upper lower case. You have to be careful with the ribbon cable, as normal, held in by that little clamp there. I've got my analog meter for testing. So as we drop the heatsink off, it's immediately obvious. This is the side that's working. We've got the signs of the burn-in, which means either this one or both are blown out. So let's just have a look in the back. Oh yeah, you probably can't see, but there's a hole blown in the back of that one. On part of the plastic housing has blown off. So it's just a matter now getting the I'll check, that one's got to come out obviously, but I can check with my meter. I'll check the others and also this one and just the other side, just to make sure, and then I'll be cutting at least that one out, and hopefully that will be the only thing that is going to need replacing. Just checking the FETs as I've shown before. It's very easy to do, just with meter, analog, two probes, be one way round or the other. You just go on, there's only 3 legs, you go on one and then the next one, depending which way round you go, you'll get a resistance or not a resistance. There it measures on my meter, it's just going up to 60 on that terminal, and on the one on the other side it's about there. You just check them all like that, and make sure, as all these FETs are the same, make sure they all read the same on each side and on the other side as well. I've checked all these. That was the one on this one that had blown out, that was in there. It's blown out a bit of the case, plastic case being actually blasted off where the thing shorted and blew out. I've snipped it off, leaving the little terminals there sticking up. Now some people have asked me about these, the Balance Fets. Well, it's exactly the same. You can't really check them from the pins on here without getting to the inside. There's 3 legs, just the same as the others. You go on the outside terminal, which the metal case part and the middle terminal always join. So you can check it there. You've got a deflection, it says 100. Check the one on the other side, also goes to about 100. You can do the next one, get on the leg, 100. So you can do all those. This row, a bit more difficult because the pins are behind, but that's only if you suspect one of these is balance port is not working. You might have blown one of these out. I haven't actually seen that, but I believe it's possible. You'll have to turn this over and do the check on the other side of the board. The pin obviously comes in to one of these from the socket. Yeah, pins there. Anyway, that was just briefly, these FETs the same. You can check them with a meter the same. Blown FET is a 3205, which is used in a lot of these. Specification shows 110 amps, 55 volts. Now you don't have to use that one. They are readily available, but you can if you were never going to charge above, put in greater than 40 volts, you could use this 3034, which is a very powerful FET. It's 195 amps and a much lower milliohm, but another very good one, and one I tend to use, is because it's rated at 60 volts, and the higher the voltage the more robust they tend to be. It's also 120 amp, 160 amp limited, low milliohms, and they're not any more expensive than the others, and that is a 3306. So you've got a choice, 3205, 3304, 3306. I happen to have all three here, which I could use. So in fact, I've got most of these are 3306. I've got a packet of them, so I'll probably use that one. Soldered the FET into place. I use a bit of this high quality flux on the legs because they were a bit charred, just to make sure that it solders properly. Use a very high quality solder as well, and make sure that it's flat. When you cut these legs off, leave the stub sticking out and solder them to the little stubs sticking up. Make sure that the FET is flat down, so that when you put it heatsink back on, it fits properly. I scraped off the burning that was on there and any debris, and I might add a little extra heat transfer thermal grease. Just rub some on, maybe underneath as well. Always helps the transfer. I mean, this one drying keeps falling off. Just helps stick these thermal transfer pads in place as well. And maybe a little bit more on there, which is just contacting that one. That's the switch that switches the whole power through on and off. So that's got to be well heat sinked if possible. Reassembled. Before I test it at full current, I like to put it on a current limited supply, just in case there's another fault and you don't want to blow everything up again. So I limit the current to say 2 amps. Limit the current to say 2 amps, 12 volts input. Turn it on, and hopefully it comes up. It's version 2.15, I see. I connected this. I should have connected it afterwards, but I did it a second ago. This is the channel that was blown, and it's showing okay. Okay. Now I've also set this initially to just a 1 amp charge. So I've selected LiPo. I've set it to 1 amp 2S balance, just so that if there's anything not working, it's not going to go mad. Plus go, which is yes. What's this? Current. Actually, this battery's coming up. I've set it to 1 amp, and it's come up to 1 amp. So I'm pretty sure that means that this channel's working fine now. Set to 1 amp. We can stop that. I can check a discharge as well if necessary. Just make sure the discharge works. It's gone to 5. Let's have a look. Internal resistance measurements working. So I can test the other channel as well if necessary, but it wasn't blown. So that's it. What it was, the FET was blown. Everything's looking good. Put the base back on and maybe clean it, send it back.